Welcome to Life, Money, and Community, where real conversations meet real life. I'm Tiffany Neary, and this podcast is all about the conversations we're already having about money, lifestyle, aging, and the people who matter most. You'll hear from community voices, local experts, and real stories that help you think differently, ask better questions, and feel more confident about the decisions you're making today and down the road. This isn't about pressure or pitches. It's about clarity, connection, and community. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Welcome to Life, Money, and Community, where we talk to a lot of different types of people that have been doing amazing things. So I am going to bring on Cheryl Thompson, and I'm going to let her talk about her history because she has gone from one extreme to another extreme. Cheryl, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. When you talk about extreme to extreme, that probably fits my life. I actually have entirely changed every aspect of my life. And when I look back at where my life was, I sometimes can't believe I'm where I'm at today. And my whole journey actually started at the age of 50.
So it's not too late to change your life at 50, is it?
Absolutely not too late. But I will tell you, the day that I sat in my easy chair at 50, knowing where I was, I would have said, in fact, I probably did say, it is too late. I am where I'm at. This is who I am. I've raised my children for the most part alone. My last one had left home, gotten married. My other one was already married. I had a granddaughter. My life was my easy chair, but it started with one comment from a doctor that told me I was going to die. And I thought, am I going to just die in this easy chair? I decided to change my life completely. Now, at that point, I weighed 320 pounds.
Oh.
I couldn't walk.
You changed appearance and everything.
Oh, I changed everything.
Okay.
I couldn't walk 2 blocks without being exhausted. Now, at that point, I worked in construction, but I didn't do the work. I just ran the men that did the work. I was pretty tough, but I could be tough from my easy chair in my office. So I was easy chairing through life. But I decided that wasn't what I really wanted to do. When I was told I was going to die, it was the same week that I found out I was going to have my first grandson. And I wanted to see that little boy grow up. And if I had continued down the road I was going, I wasn't going to see him grow up. And that just was not going to be my life. So it was a combination of that easy chair that I didn't want to live in and that precious little boy coming that I wanted to see grow up, who, by the way, will be 23 years old in a month.
Ooh.
Very exciting, becoming a pilot, absolutely thrilling. He's just been a joy of my life. So that's where it started. And when I realized that I needed to change that aspect of my life, I also sat in that easy chair in almost $20,000 in debt and very little money in retirement. So I was going to sit in that easy chair with no money to even stay in that easy chair. So I had to change my financial life at the same time, which I did. Today, I will be 75 years old in a few months. Today, I work out 5 days a week at Orange Theory, if anybody knows Orange Theory. And Orange Theory is a hard workout. And I'm going to tell you what, I keep up with every single one of those 20-somethings, 30-somethings.
Of course you are. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I can't stay motivated for this. And motivation is it's almost a fake word.
It's a very fake word.
Yes.
It's not It's not motivation.
It is not.
No.
It's something else. It's something deeper.
You have to have a why. You have to know, why do I want this? Because when that alarm, I go at 5 o'clock in the morning. So when that alarm goes off at 4 o'clock, I have many people that say, oh, well, you just love to get up early. Au contraire. Some mornings, fine. Most mornings, do I really want to get up and do that? Probably not. But I will tell you, the way that I feel when I walk in that gym, first of all, I go, okay, I made it. And when I'm done, I go, dang, I did that. So it's a whole different feeling of 4 o'clock, get up, put those clothes that I had laid on the night before. I get them on. There are mornings I go to that gym and I never even brushed my hair. Thank goodness it's short. I run my fingers through it, but I didn't do one thing. I put my clothes on and I walked out that door, got in the car, and I get there and I go, okay, I made it. And I go, okay, I did it. And so it becomes who I am, not really what I do. It's really who I am now.
And I wanted you to point that out because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm motivated on Mondays, or I'm motivated in January and February, but then I'm not motivated for the remainder of the year. Motivation has nothing to do with it.
No. It's
life
finding out, what is your why? How important is it to you? Now, do I think everybody needs to go to Orange Theory 5 days a week? Probably not. That's my life. That's who I am. And then I hike 3 days a week because I think being outside is so absolutely important.
Well, you're here in California, right?
Yes.
Yes. So it's winter and it's going to be 79 degrees today. We're filming in February 2026 and it's 79 degrees today.
That's right.
Why not go outside?
Yep. But there are days I find that mentally, for me outside, there's a mental shift when I go outside. Even if I just go out and do, I love to teach my clients to do what's called color walks. If you are struggling mentally, and sometimes mentally we kind of get mentally jumbled. We can't really think clearly. There might be things going on that we can't get our mind off of. So I teach my clients to go on what's called a color walk. I have them walk out their door and I tell them, it doesn't matter if it's raining, sunshine, walk outside your door, take your umbrella, do not take your phone. The phone stays home. You walk outside and you pick a color before you leave your door. And when you walk out, all you're going to do is look for that color. That's all. And if you find your mind starting to wander, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't get that done at work, or my kids are doing this, or whatever it is, bring it back, look for that color.
Good.
It's not a power walk. It's not an exercise walk. It's just a mindfulness walk that the minute you start thinking, okay, I'm going to find blue. That was my first color I went out to find, was blue. Okay, I'm just going to look for blue. And I had some real big family issues going on. And I'd kind of get off and I go, no, I'm just going to look for blue. And pretty soon you find yourself going, oh, I got to find blue. I had no idea there were so many Dodger fans in my neighborhood. I've never seen their Dodger flags. Saw them all. I found a yard with little gnomes with little blue jackets. I saw things that I've never seen in my neighborhood. And when I got home, there was a lightness that I had that wasn't there when I walked out. So I think there's something magical about outside.
Yes. Cheryl, I think I interrupted you at the beginning. Let's bring the listeners back to, who are you? What do you do? We know who you were before. You were someone that was not probably happy. You were just living.
Who am I today?
Who are you today and how do you help people?
I decided when I left the construction industry after 40 years, I had made a lot of money for a lot of people, and I had changed my financial life. So I decided it was time in my life to not necessarily make money, but make a difference. Because I struggled living in a 300 plus pound body, I knew that I had something to share and I had something to give. So I decided to become certified as a health and life coach. I wanted to just become a health coach because I wanted to help people who were struggling with their weight, that I really could be a benefit for them. So I wanted to become a health coach. The programs that I went through said you cannot do just a health coach. You have to do a dual certification. So I became a health and life coach. A little bit begrudgingly at first, until I got into it and I realized how important it is that your health affects your life and your life affects your health. So it was so beneficial that I had both, because most of my health clients, about 6 or 8 weeks into it, you come to realize it's the life issues that really are the root of it. So I became a health and life coach. Love it, love it, love it. Love my clients, love working with people. I love to see people making choices to change their life. After I became a health and life coach, I was offered a course called Clarity Catalyst for coaches. Now remember, I'm over 70 at this point. I'd been in school. I'd been working full time, raising my kids. I wasn't sure I really wanted to do another class, but I was offered it, decided I would take it. I realized how important that class was because I was able to bring my Clarity Catalyst tools into my health and life and how much more beneficial it would be for my clients. But the biggest surprise was it changed my life. It changed every aspect of the way I see everybody I meet, the relationships I have with my children, the relationships I have with my friends, and just the way that I see the world. So after I finished that course, I decided to go back into class and become a facilitator and become a Clarity Catalyst facilitator. So I have been blessed to be able to become a facilitator and take that class into certain businesses. I've done it in group classes, and I've even done an individual one. And I even went into the women's prison and taught this course in the women's prison. And to see people, the aha moments they have that I had, and the way that it changes the way you see everybody and yourself. So that's what I do. Health and life coach and a Clarity Catalyst facilitator. But I would say who I really am is someone who cares and wants to make a difference.
And that's all we can ask for. Now, clarity coach. What does that mean? We all know health and life. We kind of know health and life, but where does clarity mean? Right. Is it for business owners? Is it for the normal person, the average person?
Well, the Clarity Catalyst program is a masterclass out of Stanford, and it was originally called Clarity in Business. So it was actually a masterclass given to the business students at Stanford because Dr. Michael Ray decided that these business students needed to see that you don't always have to see things just the same way, that you can be creative, that you can see things in a different way. And you don't always have to look at business the way business has always been done. And then they decided to bring this course out, and they gave it to 400 of the 9/11 widows. They realized that these widows had been given grief training, grief coaching, and, they got a lot of help with that. But so many of them were not able to move forward in their life. They couldn't get the confidence and the clarity to move forward in their life. And so this class was brought out and given to them and was extremely successful. for these women. So it's kind of been revamped a little bit. So it's really, there's for people who are really seeking some peace in their life. It's been done for corporate, and I teach corporate, and I've taught teenagers. Love it. We talk about no judgment. We talk about being present. And the color walk is one of those, being present. We talk about all of the tools to stay present in your life. We talk about communication. We talk about the one that changed my life probably the most is learning to see with your heart. You know, and have you ever even heard of that? You know, we see people with our eyes, because we all really want the same thing. We want to be loved, accepted, and seen. You know, and so when I learned how important that was, I learned to see my family different, and particularly my son-in-laws. I was able to see them with more love, because as a mother-in-law, I'm going to be pretty judgmental. So it really helped me change. So those are the things. Learning to believe and trust your intuition. Those are big ones. Those are the things we teach in Clarity Catalyst.
Okay.
That's a few of them. We have about 50 tools that we teach, which are fun.
So I know that you did something very special that very few people get to do in the world.
I
You want
did.
to share what you got to do for your 75th birthday? No.
Well, it was 74.
74th birthday.
Oh, no, I do something special every birthday. But right after I turned 74, I have had a tendency that when something comes up, I go, oh, that's going to cost some money. I probably won't do that. I'll probably say no. And I did say no at first, until a daughter came to me and said, please do not miss opportunities. And I had a financial advisor tell me, you have spent so many years making money. You need to do something for you. Please do not be afraid to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Do something special. So the special thing I was given the opportunity to do was to fly to Milan, Italy, with 30 women. And it was a women giving back to women. And we supported these 3 young designers from the Philippines. And they designed clothes for us. We helped fund them. They designed clothes, and we walked the runway in Milan. So at 74 years old, I wore a dress that weighed about 35 pounds. And I didn't fall going down the runway. Thank goodness. And I walked the actual runway at Fashion Week in Milan. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
You can still feel it, I'm sure.
It's not very many people get that opportunity.
No.
And I almost said no.
I almost said no.
And I had to step into my own clarity tools and go, I'm doing this. And no judgment. I'm glad I didn't fall. No judgment. But I went with no expectations. We had walking lessons, and we had to walk with the books on our head and the brooms behind our elbows, and all that stuff. The minute I stepped on that runway, I know I hit delete on everything I learned. I know I did. But it didn't matter. I walked the runway. I didn't fall. And I loved it. And it was special, and it was wonderful. But I couldn't have done it if I had held on to those judgments and that expectations, because I would have expected myself to be perfect. And I didn't. And I loved every step of it.
So tell me, what type of client would be someone that would raise their hand and go, oh my gosh, Cheryl, I need help?
I would say I really have two kinds of clients because I have two passions. One is if someone is struggling with their weight and they want help from someone who has been there. And I will tell you, it is not a sprint. It is a marathon. What I teach my clients is one step at a time. One small step at a time. First of all, we find out what the why is. Why do they want to make the change? And then we hold on to that why, and then we make one change. And it is my job as their coach to help them set that small goal, help them be successful, and then hold them accountable. And then we set another goal, and then we take another step. And it's the small steps, helping people to learn to live their life at an 80-20. Everybody says you have to be perfect all the time. None of us are perfect all the time. And if we're going to expect that from ourselves, we're going to fail ourselves. So we learn to love ourselves, love where we are, grace. So that is probably my most perfect health client. My most perfect clarity client is someone who's just seeking to find some peace, some guidance. If they're struggling in their life with not being able to be present, they can't find a work-life balance, which is huge today. You know, computers have come in and they're supposed to make our life easier, and they've just given us more work to do. And now we have to work at home and in the car, and we don't even have a break. So they're the perfect client for me to help them find peace, help them find some clarity, and help them find some joy, for heaven's sakes. You know, we got to have joy.
Live your best life. Tomorrow is definitely not promised. So let's live a good life. Let's live outside of our box that we've built for ourselves.
Yeah. And you know, we've got ourselves in jars.
Gosh. Now, I know you are launching a book.
I am.
Share with us about the book, when it's coming out. I will put in the post a link where you guys can follow the book. So when it's launched, you will know.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
The book is actually going to be launched March 26th. Yes. And I'm so excited about it. It was, I had to get very vulnerable to write this book. Because my overweight health journey goes along with bullying and everything else that goes along with it, has been a life struggle for me. And I've always wanted to kind of write my story. So the first half of my book, I have written kind of my life in pieces. Trust me, you don't want my whole life. So I just wrote the stuff I thought it might be interesting. But I wrote a portion of my life. And then I said, I wish I had understood this, you know, when this was going on in my life. Mm. So after I write a piece of my life, then I ask my reader to step into themselves. Where in your life have you felt silenced?
Ooh, so good.
You know, where in your life have you not felt enough? And so I give them, you know, 3 or 4 prompts at the end of each little section of my life, because this isn't really, the book is about my life, but it's really not. It's really about, we all have stuff. Dig into your life and where did you feel this? Mm. So that is the first half of my book. The second half, I have written stories of my life and tried to put a little bit of humor in it. And then at the end of each of those, I've said, I wish I had this tool when I was going through this. So here's a tool. Try this. And I tell them a tool.
Yeah.
You know, I start out with my fitness. You know, I thought the word exercise was the biggest 4-letter word in the world. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that was there. So I talk about the tool of change that word to movement, and I teach them how to set up a movement menu and kind of what movement really means and how you can break it down. So that's a tool I teach in that particular one. And the probably the most fun one, it's probably not fun, but it's probably the funniest one for me, is one of the chapters is called Dating in a Cartoon, starring me, Tom, and Jerry. And I talk about my dating life and kind of what went on. And I was married twice, and my husband's names were Tom and Jerry.
Oh, that just went together. You had to do it.
And that's the
Falling
truth.
for it.
That's the truth. So I kind of talk about, my life and, Tom and Jerry. But at the end of the book, and I want to tell you, I had a 17-year-old boy read this chapter when I wrote it. And I wanted his take. And there's a phrase that I say kind of towards the end of, yes, I was married to Tom and Jerry. Neither one of these men were bad men. Neither one of them. They were bad choices. And that was on me. And that's what he picked up on. And so the tool that I teach with that one is listening to your intuition. Because I say, if I had truly listened to my intuition, I would have probably made different choices. So we talk about intuition. So at the end of each one of those stories, I try to teach a tool. So that's what my book is about. I have added in there a couple of things. I love quotes. I love quotes. So I put my favorite quotes in there. And I've told people in the tool with that one, find your favorite quotes, and I call those, wisdoms of my heart, and I put in there 10 things you can do that are simple to change your life. Just 10 things you can do that'll change your health and your life. So the book for me is so that my reader hopefully can pick it up and find a tool that will make a difference in their life. It's not about my life. I use my life, but I want them to change their life. Beautiful. The book is called The Winding Road, The Path Back to You. And I really wanted to put in the first of it, but it wouldn't land with most people, is I wanted to put from roller skates and candy bars to treadmills and protein bars, because that's kind of a journey. And I do kind of write about that a little bit in there. So that's my book. I'm excited about it. And I have gotten, a lot of encouragement from my friends and my daughters to do it. But it was, it took some vulnerability for me to do that.
And
but I hope
people will feel that. Like you said, you have to see the person. So I think you put yourself on paper.
Yeah. And I hope somebody, if one person changes their life, it'll be worth it for me.
I can't wait to read it.
So that's my book.
Thank you, Cheryl, for coming on. There's so much more we could talk about, but you guys can all, if something hit you, something maybe similar in your life, please reach out to Cheryl. She will be more than happy to have a consultation with you and take one step at a time.
It's one step at a time, one day at a time. And it just love who you are, love where you are, Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you all for listening. All Cheryl's socials will be in the links below. And of course, you'll have a coming soon for your book. I'm assuming you have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll put that in there for you guys as well. So you won't have to keep checking, but I can't wait to read it. And thank you so much, Cheryl, for coming on.
It has been my pleasure. My pleasure. So thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Life, Money, and Community. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed and share it with someone in your world. And when the time is right, you can book a call with me. I'm here as a resource. Until next time.